Good morning. Good morning. I promise I'm gonna be on time. I'm also hungry, so don't worry. But thank you for being here. It's so funny that I was here last time ADRP. Also for the getting to know everybody and understanding. And AI was still just one presentation, and suddenly this year everybody is talking about AI. So I'm glad that we are also here, kind of joining up in that conversation. But just before anything, about us, why us, right? And this, I think, is a key difference. So a lot of the companies, they saw AI as this big trend, right? And we're running, we need this to be part of our solutions, right? But we were born AI. So we've been using AI within blood centers for the past 8 years now, initially in South America, 3 years now in the US, and save lives, right? It's we all are saving lives within our jobs, but that's how we started. We actually started as a nonprofit, trying to apply and help blood centers using AI, right? We had family members that needed blood. We saw that shortage was happening, and then the shortage again, then shortage again, then shortage again, and we said, how can we help? So we initially started as a nonprofit, actually, and the blood centers actually asked us to, no, I don't need you far away, I need you here, so you can help me apply those technologies in. So that's why it started at Save Lives, and it became a company. So that's the key difference. And of course, coming to the US, we also asked Gitesh, that is here, ex-CMO from university, to join in and help us throughout that journey. So even before, everybody's throwing AI out there, right? But I wanted to kind of clear with everybody what do we mean about AI. So even before AI is a thing, we have to start with data. So every AI solution is actually a data science solution as well, because it's using data. It's using essentially mathematics, statistics, business intelligence. So that's the core. That's where it's born. And then AI goes on top of it. And essentially, as everybody knows, AI tries to mimic the capacity that we as humans have to make intelligent decisions, understanding. But AI has many different layers within AI. So we use AI just because it's an umbrella term, right? It's easier to just follow the trend, right? But there's a lot of different variations within AI. One variation is machine learning. So AI can, for example, help you to see a donor history, as mentioned, right? And understand, oh, maybe they need a reminder this day, so we're gonna send a reminder. Machine learning is actually you grabbing larger data pools and live giving the capacity for the machine to learn, not only with past information, but with live reactive information. And then what you currently see with ChatGPT is a third variation, actually, that's called deep learning. So now it's getting famous, right, with ChatGPT, but this is just the third variation within AI. So it's not that ChatGPT is AI. ChatGPT is one new trend of AI that uses deep learning, and the main difference is we found out ways to use way more data and learn from bigger data. So ChatGPT essentially uses the whole internet as their learning. So that's why it got so famous and so useful. But when we're talking about AI, remember that could be any of these. It's not only one thing. Companies are using this just as a generic term, but it could be any of those applications, correct? But of course, I saw the survey from ADRP about AI usage, and I saw that a lot of blood centers are starting to use, but I was wondering, in your personal lives, just show of hands, who uses AI every day? Okay, about 60% maybe, right? So some people don't use AI every day, right? Actually, you do. So you actually use AI every single day, even if you don't notice. So you Google something, it's using AI. Your spam filter is using AI. Your Instagram ads, your YouTube recommendations, everything that we touch today, mostly is using AI. That's why it's such a broad term, because there has a bunch of different applications. So yes, you're not, away from the curve. You're actively using it. You're actively being influenced by it. And that's happening also with our donors. Our donors are the standard for their interactions with the world is powered by AI already. So it's becoming the standard for blood centers to also use that because that's the new norm. And that's what I want to talk today. It's not really just to talk about, of course, I'm a vendor trying to sell my solutions, but I want to plant a seed here on what applications of AI could be useful for donor recruitment. So of course I'm going to give you examples and then results, but I want to just go through that trend on what else could be done. And to start with that, I want to just go through a donor journey with you guys. So of course, everything starts in blood banking with a demand, right? Hospital needing something, a patient needing a product, right? But we normally are monitoring those inventories manually, or operations calls us, we need this. We see platelets appointments going down, we need this. So AI can already help here on monitoring and evaluating and predicting inventory demands even before you guys notice, and all automatic. So imagine that next Tuesday, for example, we see that the appointments for platelets is low, right? That could be done automatically by AI. Then we have to decide how many donors we actually have to communicate to get those up, because we don't want to waste our message, especially with platelet donors, to everybody. We want to communicate with the right amount of people to fulfill Tuesday, correct? I'm seeing the head shaking, so please interact with me. But yeah, platelets are, we can really just, burn our platelet donors, right? So AI can understand behavior, right, and understand the past history to see, okay, for those 50 spots that I need for next week, I need to communicate with around 1,000 people. That would be a decision of a human analyzing historical data and doing that. AI can do that for you. So even before we talk about recruitment, we start with demand, right? That's an application of AI throughout donor recruitment. Then donor segmentation. What are the donors that should be invited? People that normally donate Tuesday are more likely to donate Tuesday, right? So why not we communicate this? But imagine as humans, we're trying to search for that donor base, try to find those people manually, try to understand those patterns to decide that list. So AI comes again with donor segmentation in terms of who should I invite. So Javier, for example, he normally donates Tuesdays. Let's put Javier inside of the list and invite them to donate. And then, okay, but and that was talked before, and I love that we are finally entering in behavior understanding, but what's the behavior of Javier? What's the historical data of Javier? Does he prefer a message talking about a patient story, a message talking about be a hero or something? What's the ideal message for Javier? So the AI can understand that, but not only message, what's the channel? Because channels matter. Some people have super messy inboxes on their emails. Some people have very clean ones, right? Some people don't see SMS at all, and some people, that's the only thing that they do. So AI can also test those channels as well to understand what that donor actually needs. And not just email, SMS, can be your call center. We can see that someone is ignoring you through SMS and ignoring you through email, but they do, grab the phone. It's rare, I know, but it's a thing, right? So it's not only about one channel, but how we can understand what channel is best for each donor. And then follow-up engagement. We normally set up our campaigns and that's it, right? We just hope that that works. But follow-up really makes people make that campaign be better. Just because, for example, sometimes, and that happens with all of us, I want to donate. I got the email. I want to donate. I went to the scheduling page, but oh my God, I need to, check my calendar. I don't know if I have a commitment here. Let me check first. Now I forgot, right? How can we as humans track everybody and see when we follow up with them, So AI can keep track of all those interactions and understand, oh, this person here probably needs a follow-up. so they finish up. And the follow-up can be through email, through SMS, through your call center, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be through the same channel. So those are just examples of application that I want you to guys to start expanding your minds on. AI is not just donor behavior, or AI is not just prediction demand. It can be applied to a lot of steps throughout the donor journey. And of course, machine learning is one of the main bases for all of this. So understanding the behavior, understanding those data points, all that needs to feed back to the machine so it learns with time. So of course, historical data is awesome, but as we all know, our donors are constantly changing, especially our younger audience. So we have to be live, learning those changes and being more effective. That's what machine learning does. So just to summarize a few applications. So demand foresight is one application of AI. Donor segmentation is one application of AI. Smart campaigns, so understand what campaign should I do, when should I do it. Message and channel optimization, and behavioral learning. So understanding what is the behavior of each donor helps this whole machine to go forward. And it's important to understand that I think a lot of people are still a little bit not sure on, is AI just going to replace my team, my marketing team, and that kind of stuff, right? And we really, after using 8 years, even my team was sometimes worried, especially when we start having, coding AIs that we could code through AI instead of my team coding it, right? So the way that we understood that AI is best used is normally as part of your team. So partner, just like Microsoft said, co-pilot, right? So something that can help you go with it and not, be substitute. So on the demand monitoring, it's still a strategic input that you do. So blood centers, you still have control, for example, on defining what's the inventory level that I want to have. I want to have 7 days. I want to have 10 days of inventory. But then actually just opening the reports every single day and making those micro decisions, that can be automated. But the strategic decision, because some blood centers want to export, so I'm going to have more inventory so I can export more. Or no, I don't need to do that. So see, it's still a partnership. We still can use AI to complement our service, and the repetitive, boring parts, let's leave for the AI. Demand monitoring, is that it? Campaign creation, so thinking about and what are the campaigns that we need to do, making those decisions. We still can make those strategic decisions, but the micro ones goes to the AI. Donor segmentation, the same thing. Behavior insights, that's where we all have the capacity to understand each donor behavior, but do that over and over and over in a large scale. We can give that ability to AI. Message deliverability, the same thing. And finally, the follow-up. So it's hard for us to really get in each donor profile and understanding where's the best time to communicate. So where AI can really help with that. And then, of course, I just scratched the surface on what applications we can do. We mentioned here today also geolocation-based, specific first-time donor journey. So it's not really about only one set of solutions, and that's what I'm so happy to see other companies using it now, because we have the capacity to apply this for almost the entire structure of the donor recruitment process. So I'm just trying here to put a small seed in you guys so you can think on your situation, what's going to be the most appropriate one. And of course, we can help, but other partners also can help you guys develop those solutions to get your goals. One other final application, and this is, I like your slide before talking about the hallucinations, right? The lies that the AI and ChatGPT are simply creating out of the blue. So a lot of people are asking me, are we at the point to put, chatbots with free, conversation within blood centers? And the answer, at least on our end, that we've been testing this over and over, is still not yet. So blood, especially the younger audience, they still want to have, they don't want to navigate through your website to find information. They do prefer a chatbot-like structure, but just giving ChatGPT or whatever other model you're using free room to talk with donors is still live. So, but there's one middle ground here where we still can have some parts of AI helping, for example, with eligibility questions. So the donor can put in, oh, I took this medication, or I took this, I went for this surgery, or whatever. Small questions we can control, and the AI is still good enough. It's already good enough for this. But just, having free ability to have a conversation, AI is not there yet. Okay. But using those things and using AI, it's of course nice, and this is the whole trend that our industry is going. But what are the actual results? So very similar to other companies, we did a cohort study. Same thing in terms of grabbing a donor pool, separating that donor pool in two, one control group and other that will receive Save Lives Communications. San Diego, Javier is here, tested that just 3 months. And we actually gave the AI no previous information. So of course, historical data is helpful, but AI can learn just by just testing. So we gave it zero information and just said, these are 10, 20, 30 different templates of email, SMS, and other things that you can test on, right? See if you can do better. And after just 3 months, we saw 51% better donation rate, better scheduling rate, and with lapsed donors, also a group that normally we have a hard time convincing them, 100% better donation rate, 220% better scheduling rate. So I think that's the theme for all presentations here. We have to use the solution. It's just more effective because our donors are getting used to receiving that kind of level of communication. That's what they see every single day in their social media. That's what they receive from any other company in other markets. So as blood centers, we need to get to that level as well. But the thing, San Diego saw it, right? That's good. Okay, they said let's expand this to the whole lapsed donor base. So for the past 18 months, we had the whole entire donor base from San Diego, and we just let that solution keep running. So 3 months was good, but what about with time? And the results were kind of the same. So every single quarter, we kept still going up because machine learning is not only about historical data, but live data coming in and learning. So every single month, it got a little bit better to communicate with the right people. So in blood banking, we normally don't see a trend going up. We normally have shortages, and we are trying to find ways. But imagining having a solution that can by itself do part of that work on improving, right? And then, of course, San Diego saw this and said, well, but how does that compare to my standard? Because if I'm already going up, it's easier for your AI also to go up now. So we compared to their other donor base. So we had the lapsed donors, and they kept their current donors, first-time donors, everybody else. And as you can see, the current donors were actually going down after 18 months. And using AI with lapsed donors, I think theory harder to communicate, right? We actually went up. So it's the ability to, even when things are trending down, to keep this machine being reactive and adaptive and going up, okay? But don't take my word for it. Javier is here from San Diego. That's more than a 3-year partnership that we created with them. I think they are the best ones to actually talk about it. So, Javier?
Yeah. Oops. Don't worry, I've only got one very simple, very short slide. And honestly, the biggest thing with partnering with Save Lives was finding that right partner fit. There's so many companies out there that claim to use AI, machine learning, other things. There's even companies outside of blood banking that they just seem like these magic solutions, right? So before any of that, the first thing we wanted to do is work with an organization that fit with our culture, that fit with our mission, was purpose-driven, right? So Akila mentioned that earlier. after talking to him a few times early on, my colleagues and I, we noticed right away that he wasn't about coming in, selling us a magic solution, and then just like making out like a criminal, right? We wanted to pay him obviously fairly for the services in the company, but at the same time, we wanted something that would meet our needs and actually work. Another thing that was really important for us was just his understanding. Like he had mentioned earlier, his company has been around for over 8 years at this point, doing this exact thing in Brazil and then now in the United States and working with other companies too. I think that it was important that we didn't have an outside, out of industry marketing company or AI company or other solution come in and not really understand what our unique challenges and problems are, right? It's not that they couldn't build a solution, but automatically working with Save Lives, we knew that we'd have that step up. And the last thing was having a flexible, collaborative approach. Like I said, he didn't want to make out like a bandit. He wanted to work with us in a way that worked with us and worked for us. So we started with a pilot. We started with those lapsed donors where our chances to lose, like the failure or the impact of failure, would be very, very low. These are donors who are already not donating with us. So there's nothing to lose from it, especially when our own tele-recruitment team, our own marketing team really couldn't do very much outside of, again, mass calls or mass blasts or anything like that to engage them. So starting with the pilot was super important. Once we saw outcomes, both positive and negative, like we learned together and we grew together and we started to scale the things that worked. One of the biggest things, especially for me, actually coming from marketing, coming from outside of blood banking, I wanted to make sure we didn't use a solution that circumvented marketing expertise, especially when it comes to things like messaging, right? So one of the things I love about the platform actually is that whenever any of these templates come up or they have suggestions or the AI wants to do something, we actually have to approve all of those things. So it's not gonna make something up, it's not gonna hallucinate, it's not gonna suddenly send out a message that we disagree with. And sometimes we even offer improvements, or we'll find some of the ideas that are provided and we'll improve on those ideas, reintroduce it to the AI, it'll use it in its learning, and then it'll improve on those ideas. It's like this infinite cycle of learning and growth, right? So it was very, very easy for us to scale at that point with a lot of confidence. And at this point, I think basically over the last couple of quarters, we've been at over 5-day supply for almost all of our blood types. And a lot of it is, again, it's that intelligent, proactive outreach and recruitment based off of the Save Lives tool. We basically see about 80 appointments from our donor base scheduled every single day. So imagine if you could set up a tool with a trusted partner, not exactly set it and forget it. Again, you still have to be very much involved. You still have the human subject matter expertise and that oversight. But again, trusted partner that is going to grow with you, expand with you, and make sure that your patients are always having the blood products that they need. That's why we partnered with Save Lives.